It sounds fine, by the way, Saxius.
Ah, super. Just want to make sure.
Yep.
Thank you for telling me ahead of game time so I don't start cussing.
Oh, you're fine in the end.
But thank you, Brian.
No
Hmm.
problem.
No, so that's what I'm picking up. Like, big O. That's what I was meaning. Like, big O, WTF? Like, what is going
Yeah,
on here?
I get it. Okay. Because it was one of those things of like, I'm confused because some of the Dark Heresy cover art for soldiers has them have pages like strapped to them.
The other thing to remember is each ecclesiarchy member is trained in a different school most of the time. I mean, there are
Hmm.
big major schools.
Yeah.
Some of them will regard that as potential grounds for heresy, and others would be like,
And
no, that happens all the time.
the school that Brian is
Hmm.
from would actually look at that and be like, "Ah, no, no, we're not having that shit. We're not having that shit."
And that's
Hmm.
and that's why we're being careful. Like, it sucks because I know how I deal with it. If you would have just told me that, I could actually potentially bring that up, or at least have the conversation of like, hey, it's probably a local custom, and they don't see it as that. But we're in the middle of a negotiation, so you know.
Yeah, and other places have local customs of worshiping Slash. Doesn't mean we don't burn them.
Now, with all that said and done, you have a dropship arriving over, and they start sort of like unloading some of the gifts that they want to give you. And you are provided with a small tanker um, worth of what's labeled Promethium. And the Baron states that there are a few sites on this planet where they have Promethium that they can extract. So they'd like to present to you with some pure Promethium that he'd like to offer to you. Not enough for it to be used on board a grand ship, but enough for it to be used for a single vehicle or you know any other lighter use that you might want for it.
Gotcha.
Checking.
Checking for tip bomb.
No, no, it's my tech use. It's pretty much all of a sudden I pulled out like these two like disposable test sticks, and all of a sudden I'll dip it and be like, okay, oh hey, it's at this level.
Oh, you mean like
Yes.
purity or whatnot?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty much one of those disposable sticks, but I put it in pretty much as technically a technocracy Ziploc baggie, and then also in category.
Yep.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, yeah, this is really good. Oh,
Good shit. So you can use it for naturally flavors. Why wouldn't
Yes.
you?
Hmm.
You can use it for basically if you make use of this. We'll note it down as that you've got 10 uses of it for vehicles, and we'll times that by 10, so 200 uses for weapons. Um, um,
nice.
I'll keep track of that for you. So
Hey,
you don't
Sweet.
have to.
we need some chlorine tablets and some styrofoam.
Oh
Got
my
it.
god. Time to make napalm. Napalm sticks
Napalm
to
sticks
kids.
to kids. Napalm sticks to kids.
Yep, accurate.
Napalm sticks to heretics. Sticks to heretics.
Now
All
we're
right.
talking.
So yeah. So
Um,
you're given that as a gift that you can take with you up to the ship.
got you. He nods and he says, "I appreciate your gesture. This is and like like gets the thumbs up, like the Mechanicus thumbs up. You're like, yee, this is high quality. I appreciate expending such a commodity in um these times." As he understands, like you have a war going on, even though you can refine it. It takes a lot of energy to fight a war and still run your refineries.
Mm,
Probably what they're using it
um,
for is actually tactical means, so that's why they're keeping it running.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, whatever the case, you've been provided this. So yeah. But that's the end of the negotiations here.
Yeah.
Um,
With that,
you can go on.
Prismatic glasses
I
are.
would have as like go over and talk to while they're wrapping their stuff up and we're like looking at this and OX is filling me in. I'm gonna turn back to Father Xerxes and go. I do apologize for not getting you a closer look. I believe it would be tactfully improper at this time. I believe, what was it that you saw, though? I was unable to spot it myself.
Well, I'm going to describe everything I saw to you.
Okay. Could I make an intelligence roll to whether or not... Because, I mean, it's not really my job to know ecclesiarchy stuff. Could I make an off-the-cuff intelligence roll to be like, hey, I know customs are different? Like...
Yeah, you can do that with like a -10. I mean, you've had different priests and such on board different ships.
Okay.
But you've also had to read up heavily on what Cersei stands for, so you're more well versed in his school of the ecclesiarch
Understood.
than you are on the broader ones.
I'm there, right?
Would it be
I'm-
specifically just intelligence, or can... oh, yeah, you said -10, regardless. Even if I got, like, common law Imperium, it's still my intelligence.
Yep.
I'm still there, so I'm gonna like listen to Brian's
No.
character and take it in the knowledge what he's just you're distributing.
Yep.
I'm like, I start nodding, like, all of a sudden, oh, okay. So that's how it is.
Yep. So Matthias is just like, there are too many factions inside the ecclesiarch to make a safe decision right here now.
Yep.
Without probably causing offense. So
Yeah, and that's why in the end of the day... in the end of the day, I'll be like, these matters, of course, are your purvey. I believe in later meetings we can ask about local customs and their reasoning for it, and flesh out whether or not there is something for greater concern. Oh, rip. Sorry, Murdoch is saying that his internet provider seems to be having problems in the area. He talked to a few people in the area, and they're having the same problem right now. That sucks.
oh shit.
I know. The hell? Of course. Internet providers, how dare they? We need to launch a protest. How dare they interrupt our Rogue Trader session?
Seriously, last week it was me.
Right. God.
Hold on, let me go light some incense. Maybe I can fix.
Yeah, right?
Excuse me, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Hey, I got a coffee scented candle. I'm gonna work with that.
There we go.
Coffee scented candle is lit.
Right. Alright,
Now I want coffee.
well, with that, if we're wrapping up the negotiations at that time, I will, have one of my aides start preparing a message, or, I mean, since time is really of the essence in this matter, well, no, I'll have them start making an appointment with the governor.
Okay.
And we'll basically, fly in a roundabout, like, pathway so that, well, we'll probably go up to, just about when you're, like, about to start, exiting the atmosphere, and then come back down. The only reason, well, no, we'll go up to the ship first. Because in the end of the day, I want to make sure that our approach vectors are good and that we don't get considered to be hostile craft, even though we've have all the codes and whatnot. You never know what guardsman's actually paying attention.
Exactly. You've seen what it's like before.
Right.
Right. Some good news for when you come up. You just copy the right person or drag him over to the right place. You come up to the bridge and you've got Mr. Cadmus standing there looking very happy with himself.
Oh, well, good.
Standard.
Where is me? Oh, I'm probably still lever. Yep. Must
Okay.
go up to bridge.
I like Rammus's icon. It's nice.
Ramus looks fire, because he's Ramus.
Yep.
All right. I enter the bridge.
All right, so Cadmus is in there. Ah, hi, Lord Road Trader. Greetings. Fantastic to see you again. We have been able to locate where our secondary ship is, and they have just recently entered into the warp. They should be with us within a few days' time, as would be expected.
And he looks he'll look pleased, but with like that half smile of like you can clearly tell that he was annoyed that they got lost in the first place.
Mhm. Now, Lord Matthias, I would like to bring up the discussions of whether it is worth to expand our current bloodlines.
And he means I can already read through this. I don't know what he means. But I will humor him because he probably likes to hear his own voice.
You see, my dear lords, it has come to my attention that not far from here, there appears to be something of an interest. You see, within the Quintus subsector, near, well, not the Mar Free system. I'll move you to the sector map so you can see. Now, within this sector, there appears to be there's something of an unusual location. I'm just going to mark it on your map here. You see, I have recently dug up within our archives that there is a magistrate house located within the Quintus subsector. And I think it might be worth to see whether we can have a marriage arranged when we arrive there.
Hmm. Who did you have in mind?
Oh, I have a stepsister.
Indeed.
Naturally, we will be marrying, within the, the genes. So we would only have a navigator marrying a navigator. I would not ask any officers to do that. No, 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 no. We would not. That would never go down well. But I hear that the system of Paltrow's lighthouse is where this void-bound magistrate house is located. And I think it might be worth that we, um, marry into this magistrate house.
Hmm. And so, quick question for out of character stuff.
Mhm.
Um, would my character know sort of how? Well, one, um, oh goodness, I'm trying to figure out what I would know. I probably wouldn't know much about this, even though I'm like Navy. This is kind of like a really it'd be what a navigator nobility kind of thing. So it's kind of a
Well,
little
just
mystical, sort of, right?
you want to know like how these marriages work, or
Yeah,
what?
I'm wondering. In the end, I'm trying to figure one, how much I would know about this without having to push deeper. And then from there I'll role play. Is what the thought was.
Navigator houses are very. So how would I put this? Navigator houses, depending on how big they are. So Cadmus comes from a quite big family. He's from a magistrate house, which are some of the more numerous ones. They usually stick within their own families and they only marry outwards when there is need for like political gains, which is they keep effectively like a really strong uh, genetic mutation going for them, so they make sure that you know, their psychic and their navigator mutant genes stay strong because that's what they've got. Um, the really smaller houses usually um, degrade into mutant houses because of how like lackluster the genetic availability is within them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like your rough understanding. Like magistrate houses, big ones like Cadmus would be they marry outwards for political reasons. Um, and someone like a smaller house, like a mutant or renegade house, would usually so like they'll marry whoever they can to keep like genetic diversity for their house going.
Uh-huh. Got you. Okay. All right. So basic. All right.
Is this like super important to his type of household though?
Oh, it sounds like it.
Yeah. This sounds pretty deep for.
Oh yeah. And he'll kind of run that through his head. What was the timeline you were thinking for this proposal? As you know, there's a war going on the planet below us, and we've
Oh,
also
do
received
not
a
worry.
distress signal from Serum.
Oh, do not worry, my lord captain. There is no agreed timeline. I would never agree to anything like that without your approval. No, 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 no. I've simply been talking with the Lady Sachi to ensure that, the possibility was there. They do have, a small side family who needs to spread their wings, and we have wings that we need using. So I figured it would be a wonderful combination.
God damn, I love that.
It sounds how the hell would you say that? I believe that would be proper. Is the way he'd say it. You know what I mean? Like that's
Marvelous.
as of right now, that is very agreeable. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I could
Fantastic.
figure out to facilitate this.
That is very, very happy to hear that. Now, my dear Lord Captain, I just want to make sure I'm not doing anything improper here, so would you mind that I have, Mr. Patronus draft up this proposal and we can sign it and make sure that everything is in order? I understand that this is a very, very administrative ship, so I wouldn't want to simply agree on something verbally and then, suddenly there would be, a subsection or a clause or anything else that would pop up along the way.
I'm laughing out of character, not laughing in character.
I mean, he does that in. I have heard about the small bureaucratic issue that was between Iota and Botulus. I don't want to deal with that.
He. Oh, X is in the background. How dare you!
No, literally, it's like all of a sudden I come up. I like the cut of that man's jib.
Right? I don't want to. If you actually said that, you're like, beep, agreed. Continues walking down the hallway, but like, kind of turn and like, huh? Okay.
No, I totally fine with all of a sudden that small commentary. All of a sudden, agreed, and then go away.
Continues on his duties. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably. He'll kind of look at like, I mean, in the end, we're on the bridge talking, so people have earshot. But yeah, he'll just kind of like, when Cadmus brought up the legal thing, his face kind of like, you saw like an eye kind of twitch a little bit, as you can tell it was an annoying experience to have to deal with. And I'm wondering if his grin, he like has that look of like, yeah, that's why I'm getting Portunus involved. Also, I mean, since this is a noble house, right? This is like aristocracy from the medieval times. Like, it was half securing alliances and half political. Like, I'm marrying this person so that 3 generations down the road, we literally have complete control of the navigator household in this subsector.
Yeah, it'll be something along those lines, but as far as you know, Cadmus has not been telling you directly what his plans are. He's just told you he wants to marry. And he wants to marry his stepsister.
Oh, he wants to marry? I thought he was already married.
Cadmus himself is married, but it's his stepsister that he's marrying away.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Add the off to it and he'll understand.
Yeah, marrying off. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
100%.
No,
All right.
Cadmus is the fucking prime and like the
Yep.
progeny. He's not divorcing and marrying again unless it's really worth his time.
Or, someone dies or something. But yeah, no, totally. He is the patriarch, at least of this, branch of the house then. I mean, they've got a good deal right now. They've got a burgeoning rogue trader household that if we get more ships, and of course the other navigator continues, he's gone. That was not good. I know Portunus will not Portunus, I know Cadmus will probably want to kill him, but I'm like, could we sell him?
Are you asking him?
No. I'm asking as the GM. Would I know that navigators can be sold off?
I mean, slavery is okay in the 41st millennium.
I meant as a navigator, not as a standard bonds. Like, I would not yeet a psychically somewhat psychic mutant into the workforce.
Yeah, you can sell a navigator, yes.
Okay, alright, because that guy, I know Portunus is waiting for that guy to probably get here with the ship so I can be like, yes, so about killing him. But we have to have a replacement, and so I get it. Alright, alright, with that, he goes, yeah, he will say, yes, as of right now, I would gladly accommodate you on this endeavor when the time is right. Please keep me informed of the dealings, or the scheduled potential timelines, basically, not dealings, because
Naturally.
I know he probably doesn't want to go
Naturally.
super into dealings, but if he decides to let me know,
Of
that'd be
course. Hi, Captain Matthias. You will be kept in the loop of all important details.
Oh my
My
goodness.
appreciation.
Like what's going on?
It's Cadmus being Cadmus.
Yeah, no, I just realized what's going on, and I'm like, oh, this is the bigger picture with Cat.
Hey man, he's a noble house within a dynasty, which means he wants also power.
Yeah, man, that's fair.
Yeah.
And also, I see for in the future, we're gonna get another of his household on the other ship.
Oh yeah, totally. Come on now. He's no fool.
Yeah.
So, alright, yeah.
Now, if you'll excuse me, my dear lord, I believe it is very proper for me to at least arrange for the cathedral to be booked in due time.
Of course. And he'll do the customary bow.
He'll bow back, a little bit lower because you're higher ranked than him, and he'll be making his way out.
Gotta keep the
Alrighty,
nobles happy.
mhm.
No! Ree!
I will get the microwave guns for.
Let me see here. Is there anyone who's up to anything, or do you want to do something? Because I know we've got like the whole Baron thing going on in the background, but I just want to check with you, the players, whether there's anyone who wants to action anything or make any moves.
Okay, so I've been Jack and they have both walked up to OX11 and asked for pretty much, if it's possible technically to put explosives in people.
Yeah.
I like how you just. Yes.
And
That's the
I was like,
baseline.
that's the baseline. And all of a sudden I'm like, yes, it's possible. We do it with servitors all the time. And they were asking alive people. I'm sitting there like, yeah, we could do that. Are they okay with it? Is it against the creed? That was the only thing I was like, is that against at all anything against the tech like lore about putting bombs inside people? Because if not, I'm okay with it.
I'm actually pretty sure that there is nothing against that.
Hey, space jihad on the Emperor's behalf is a thing.
Yeah, no, that's what I was
Just
thinking too. Because they're willing subjects, they said, both of them. And I'm sitting there like, hold on, let me check my notes if all of a sudden anything's against the rules here. So I will get with Sexiest and ask him if there was any type of like.
as long as you're not, blowing up machines, it's fine. People and servitors aren't like there are so many people that can be turned into servitors. The servitors are kind of disposable, and we have them. There are as many servitors as we have like microchips in the modern day. So
Okay.
they're everywhere. So yeah,
So yeah, then I
definitely.
can easily agree upon this.
Yeah,
Okay.
So yeah, then I can definitely greenlight both of them. Like, yeah, that's totally cool. I can definitely have me and a couple of the others, and we talked to Doctor. What was?
Dr.
Faust.
Faust.
Yeah, talked to Doctor Faust about these installations.
Oh, so you want to approach Dr. Faust and suggest human bombs?
I'm asking if it's okay with it, because
Or if he's okay with it.
yeah, because if he's okay with it, I'm already okay with it because it's not bad. But Doctor Faust has different beliefs than me.
My my dear tech priest, is the purpose of these bombs purely military, or what is the higher purpose of this?
I probably would have Matthias with me at the time so he could do a proper explanation.
Oh, okay. I mean, as long as Jim's good with me being able to do that and the roleplay I just did, I'm totally fine with it. um, yes. This is a plan in the future for, how would you put it, willing individuals who choose to work on behalf of the house and, if need be, use this as a last effort device to give themselves in service to the Emperor rather than potentially being taken alive by hostiles or Xenos. And so it is.
You see like a small like twitch in his head as you are explaining this.
Okay. What was it at just that, or was it like Xenos itself?
Xenos itself, when you say that.
Yeah, 'cause
Gotcha.
gene stealers are a thing, and he would probably abhor that.
Well, we don't actually know a whole lot about Faust. This is like our, second
No,
talk
this
to
is
him?
actually something I've been meaning to do with him because, like I said, I have a bunch of stuff I've literally got like a data slate waiting for all of a sudden my chance to say, hey, I actually have all these, like, comlink or data, com beads. Isn't that what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Com
so all
beads?
these, I got all these com beads, and all these smart links for all the flight crews and the Red Bear to help them with their thing. If you would be okay of installing them.
All right. With that,
This is
then
pretty much
then I
adding
don't
on
think
to
that we
my
would have this
list.
be like a side conversation. It would actually be like, let's go sit down in your office and talk while your staff does things.
All right. I mean, his office is basically the med bay, so you meet
Okay.
with him there. You have this conversation. You mentioned Xenos. He has a Twitch, and you start listing out all these ideas. And Dr. Faust basically lays out that my lords, the subjects does not need to be willing; they simply need to be subdued. Now, for the higher purpose, as I said, I understand the need for martyrdom. However, I need to understand like what form of parameters are we looking at? Are we looking at purely explosives, or are we looking at a biological cocktail for wider spread? Are we looking for immediate effect?
I love this man.
You see,
With
there's a
that,
very big difference between
Matthias
the
will
two.
start to sit back when he starts going into this. He'll just kind of sit back and just take in the information he's about to be given.
Yeah,
So-
I'm like sitting here like, ooh.
So the difference is very simple. For immediate effect, we'll be looking at a small radius, potentially, depending on the scope of the explosives. That could be as wide as 1 meter. It could be as far reaching out as 4 to 5 meters, depending on how high we pump the subject up. The amount of explosives may correlate to their lifespan as well, but we'll get into that later. The alternative, which is a more of a biological nature, will be that we will have the pockets placed within the subject when the person dies. These will be released and give out a form of a plague of a form, which can then, impact a larger population. Now, the time scale would be very different. Explosives would have an immediate and an aerial effect that will cause death and destruction. A plague would be dependent on how close the death would be to a large population of people, of individuals. I simply want to know what our scale here is. And also, I need to know whether I can be granted access to our forbidden library.
I knew an NPC was gonna ask sooner or later.
Look, this requires very delicate information, my lords, and while I am more than happy to work, by the cut of what I might be able to make up, it would be very lovely to actually have some hardline data to work by. I hope that will be perfectly understandable.
I love this man.
I love how grubby and like gimme all the int characters are. Like, so about that really cool thing you have, I want it.
Yeah, no, it sounds like he's on board.
No, it's fire. With that, he goes, I will have to. I am open to the idea of your use of the library, but I must weigh some pressing thoughts. When it comes to the deployment, this is something, of course, that is not to be implemented yet, but we are merely exploring our options. In that, it needs to be, of course, kept on a hush. That is, like I said, they would be of clandestine nature.
Ah, yes.
But both options are feasible in different situations, and so it would have to, it would dictate based off of the person and their, the situation they perceive themselves going into. And so,
Oh, while I have you, he slides you a piece of paper. Well, not a piece of paper. It's like a folder. He's like, this is for Lord Macedon when he's ready.
oh, is it like for his eyes only, or is it like his plans on medical documentation?
Oh, no, my lord. This is neither. This is the medical examination he requested.
And he'll nod, like, okay, interesting. I trust Macedon. My downfall. Right? Trust no one. And he'll kind of nod, and push a button on one of his communicators to summon one of his serfs. He's like, well, I mean, well, oh, hold on. Why would he have given it to us? Oh, it might be for his eyes only thing. I don't know. Interesting. He'll kind of like.
He said no.
Huh?
He said no.
Okay.
So he didn't seem like it was like needed to be secret.
Well, no, I'm just like I'm wondering why he gave it to us, but in the end, huh? Anyway, he'll accept it and give it to. Well, oh, it's probably one of those convenience things. He's probably not even thinking since he's Dr. Faust. I don't know. And interesting. I don't know why I'm so perplexed about this. There's no point for it. He goes, indeed, I will make sure he gets it. What was the other thing I was going to ask him? Dang it. You ask your questions, Matt. Go. I have to look at some of my notes. I totally forgot what I was going to ask Faust.
Any questions from you, OX? Or do you then go into things like, oh, how can we do these, biological stuff?
Okay. So, funny thing is, I just got a call, so I had to take that real quick. Questions wise is I bring up like a data slate and I like push it over to him. I'm like, so I got a bunch of these parts that I got the green light for installations of these sub. And so I show him the smart links that we got the green light to install into the Red Baron and his fleet, and all these comm beads for all the people, like the captain and stuff. I mean, yeah, the good captain and stuff.
Right, let me just do some quick medical rolls. He does get a Plus 20. That's 110. Since he's in his home run area. Fucking hell. So he looks
What
over
did he
this.
roll?
That's just
A
medical
15 minus.
check.
Jesus.
Why? Oh gosh.
Wow, that's a really good roll. Basically, I rolled 1.
Yes. So you see his eyes because they're mechanical. Just go, like just immediately scanning and forcing the information into his brain to be processed quicker.
Yeah.
And he then turns around and goes, right. So, my dear tech priest, we have some ideas that are applicable, like the Vox communicators. We can do that. We might have to add in a voice box, since the idea would be that we add in the. He basically explains like he's going to add in like the com beat where the voice box is, so that people can talk, even if they're inside the engine and with the roaring noises around them. And he will then be basically he will deafen one of their ears so that they've then got a permanent like communication in their ear that they can then switch over and function as normal when they're around. The problem would then be, depending on the quality of Vox communicator that we get, the people would then be, mute. So you would have to have like an additional voice box for them to speak through. So he would then need you to do some additional work on them. So he can implement them and help you with that. That's not a problem. The tricky part would then be it's not exactly like it'll be a permanent part of them, but something has to go. And
Okay.
With
Are you
that,
okay with it, Captain?
well, that would be personal preference of the. In reality, it'd have to be the personal preference of the pilot themselves. Because
Yeah, I mean-
since they're aces, in the end of the day, I know I could tell them like this is what's happening, but they're aces. You don't want to piss off your aces.
Hey, you're misunderstanding something real quick. These are the comm beads, not the smart links.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is for us. Well, yeah. Is there a way that we can get around needing the voxes, basically the voice voxes, or like if we find some higher end ones, like some really high end ones, where we'd be able to get around that, or?
Yeah, higher end. The higher end, the better.
Got you. Okay.
Okay, so that's cool, and we can probably pick those up on that planet we were heading.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, Thalmus. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mentioned that we could probably pick those up on Thalmus.
Okay. Yeah, because he would have referenced something of like, well, I'm not. I do not wish to. As of now, and like, because he'll understand that Mechanicus have different beliefs with certain things. Give up the voice the Emperor has given me as of right now. And I do not believe other command staff individuals would be. It's up to them in the end of the day. They do serve the house, but they are also of their own free will of the moment. Well, I wouldn't say it like that. Jesus, that would sound bad. Yeah, you get to make your own decisions. For now.
Do it.
Right? Slave crew. That's what we're running now.
So,
Yeah, right. And so he's kind of taking that in, and he'll kind of go, he'll bring that up. He'll go, is there a way for us to get maybe ones where we don't have to do that? And, they're like, yeah, you just need better versions.
Yeah, because at the moment, like the Vox communicators, they're like chunky, like it's a big side thing, and if he's gonna operate that into you, he's literally gonna be removing an ear, drilling it into your, skull, attaching it permanently, and then connecting it to your voice. But that will then impact your mouth and so on and so on. So the higher quality, the better. As for the connections, he's looking at them thinking, wow, these are going to be a little bit more complicated due to the brain interlink. It's possible. We must do the proper preparations, and I'll require both your expertise, my dear tech priest, and we might also just need a priest nearby to make sure that the God Emperor is indeed giving us a loving glance when we, start prodding around in the brain.
understood. And you have my tools at your disposal as well.
Let me clap something off real quick.
Okay, and what about the smart?
Aha! With that intelligence, I remember that Xerxes is a trained medical professional.
Mm-hmm.
And so he'll say, may I recommend our resident priest, Father Hegai Xerxes. Though part of the ecclesiarchy, I believe he is well versed in medical procedures as well. A dual purpose, if you would.
He nods. Yes, that will be
Makes
most
note.
excellent.
Must pick his brain, figuratively and then literally.
When we install, he will be.
Exactly. Oh my
I
gosh.
love it. Okay, so that's actually good to know.
Alright, so we got that.
And okay, that's all. I like this. So what about the smart links then? Because
Oh, that's what he was talking about.
That's what the brain, the smart link between the pilots and their plane.
Excellent. Alright, okay.
Right.
So remember, Jack also wanted something, so I actually have another thing on the list. So, what's Jack's character?
Thomas.
Thomas.
What is it, Master Thomas?
Yep.
So Master Thomas also approached me about installing tracking devices into certain people. Is that possible?
What distance is Master Thomas thinking of? If he is thinking of planet to orbit, well, is he willing to sacrifice a person's stomach, guts, and livers?
Good God, that's a big device. 40K, everything's big.
The host would probably be not able to carry that size of a unit at this current moment.
Debatable.
Unless they're an absolute unit. Got it.
Okay, so we'll
Women
have to
do
get
it all the time.
Dab.
Yep, they're all pregnant.
It's really weird. All the people that offloaded from the ship onto this planet are pregnant. What?
My dear, I'm afraid that we are going returning to the discussions of quality. The quality of the device will drastically reduce the size in which it will be inserted into the...
Murdoch said, I think I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow to call CenturyLink or hope it comes online in the wee hours of the morning.
We are wishing to have orbital to planetary tracking devices. Well, such technology, I would have to rely on yourself, my dear priest, whether they're capable of that or not. But that's for you to discover. Inserting it should not be a problem, regardless of the size.
Understood. So, what do we have for production here on the ship? Like for building?
Well, you have a
factorum.
Yeah, you have to manufactorum, or you have to factorum on your ship, which is basically a large, like, working station. It's like a, how would you put it? Think of a mechanics, not shed, but like area, but like the size of a house, where it's just like nothing but tools and spare materials and what have you, both for vehicles, ship maintenance, as well as guns and personal stuff.
Okay, so I could possibly make these devices and then make them smaller.
Making them smaller, you can upgrade them, sure. Making them from scrap is one of those things of where, like, ideally you want them made by a sanctioned, when you have a factorium, you just need, like, the STC, the standard template, or standard construction
so
template.
I would have to, like, find the standard template, and then I can make stuff.
Yes. You can request them from what's called factoriums and such, because they are the more easier available they are, the easier they are to request. But they would also include, you then having to like tinker and build them first and then improve them. So that can take a lot more resources than would be, feasible for for production, if that makes sense.
Okay. I'm I'm willing but not willing at the same time to stretch my resources.
The main reason is like the standard template that you'll be given would be for like a backpack communicator, but then you're going to be trying to like narrow it down to be no bigger than a Nokia phone, like a Nokia 3000.
Okay, I understand. Which that's phenomenal in all levels if I can do. Yeah, no, could we also possibly pick that up at that other place?
At
Dalmius?
Thalmius,
Yes, Phineas.
you probably could. I mean, it is a
Requisition
affordable-
rolls.
Yeah, Dave, can you write that down then?
Yes. Let me look where I would
That's
add
stuff
it.
we need to start asking for on that planet when we do roll.
Gotcha.
Okay, and I'll also, I explained to him we'll add that to the thing.
Yeah. I can definitely do that. Yeah, I found the area where I normally put that stuff. And that was what specifically do you want me to write down so that you remember what it means?
The template of the tracking device.
Okay.
It's technically, I'm asking for blue.
Yeah.
And then the better voice boxes or speak. And what else do we need from there that we were talking about? Because we're already planning on going there anyways because we're looking for the lead about the night. Right?
Yeah, well, it's dependent on what's going on. I think if we wrap up Lucia rapidly, depending on how things go, we may try to push to Serum first, as we did receive a distress call from them.
Yes, and then zip back to the marriage part, then work our way back.
Well, marriage isn't locked down, yet.
Okay.
So
it's not immediate action. Okay.
Yep. It's just on the back burners that it'd probably come up like right in the middle of a warfare. Ah, yes. So the wedding is happening today. Can we postpone the orbital bombardment?
Okay, excellent.
Right. So, what was the other thing I was gonna ask him about? I haven't read up on that yet. Haven't read up on that
Did you
yet.
ask him some biologist questions?
Yeah. So, he goes, I apologize, Dr. Faust. My duties in the ship and all, it's hard for me to find a lot of time to find the more, finer things when it comes to the runnings of the ship. I was wondering, how many individuals can your medical staff do potentially in a day's worth of physical checkups, as the house is looking to start acquiring a good amount of house troops that will be on the ship at all times for any kind of conflict that we may need to dispatch them to.
Ah. Well, we have already run pre-checks on the upper echelons of the ship before we set off. For new recruits, we would be able to run through approximately, if I stretch my resources, but you want a thorough checkup, wouldn't you? No corners cut.
Yes, these recruits would be volunteers at the beginning and looking to pick the best of the best in the end. Now, we will take with what the Emperor gives us in the beginning, but
A thorough check through, I can run 20 through at a consistent level with a statistically reliable outcome.
and he means 20 a day.
20 a day.
Got you. Okay. If I was able to get potentially other medical professionals and staff to assist with this, as we are of course looking to expand um, some of the administrative staff for the house as of right now, would that be conducive into helping you? I understand they would have to get up to your standards, and you would have to make sure that they understand what they're looking for.
Well, it will be easy enough to explain what we are looking for. The main question would be whether we would have enough resources on board the ship or other ships. As I understand, we have more than one these days. Hmm. It would be a technology and equipment question rather than a personnel. Personnel I can easily train. Any, well, servitor can be hijacked and rearranged to look for the right numbers.
Hmm.
It is
Indeed.
whether we can have the equipment needed for the more thorough examinations.
Understood. Understood.
I hope I make my case understandable without being too detailed.
Yes.
Marvelous.
I may have to reevaluate what I may need to request from you the more simplistic breakdown of what the standards that what I'm trying to convey here is he goes,
I understand, my
yeah.
captain. I can outline what we will be looking for as to medically ensure nothing but the best are available for yourself.
Yes, these men as of right now will be of course house guard, and we have high standards for all of our personnel, but as of right now they are here to fill the ranks with men able to hold the line rather than men of the more tip of the spear for the emperor, as you Pilkington's walking around doing his thing.
Yes.
As you know, the Elysians that came on board, they are, as of right now, our house tip of the spear, and so these men would be more over line infantry. So standards does not have to be as precise, but we still want them in good shape. So I look forward to seeing your what would it be? Your medical review comparisons and finding what would be best.
Medical report. Anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm looking through my notes real quick. That doesn't involve him. That doesn't involve him. I don't think I've actually read up on any of those medical deals yet because that's kind of higher end lore stuff. So, all right, cool. With that, he goes, Master and what did we say? Just be Tech Priest right now, right? Or is it Engine Seer because you're the lead guy?
Yes, engines here will fine with me.
Yeah, let me actually double check real quick what like Mechanicus ranks are again, because I keep on forgetting. There's a lot of crap to friggin' remember.
I mean, we'll just refer to him as, Master Engines here for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Any other questions or details you need to bring up, Master Engine Seer? I am thoroughly satisfied.
I am thoroughly at this. My curiosity has been quenched.
And with that, he will say to Dr. Faust, he's like, "It has been good talking with you. I look forward to our conversations in the future to be as enlightening." And he, gives the head nod bow and anything further.
There is nothing from my side as of yet, Captain.
Actually, do you have any questions for me, good doctor?
I do.
Oh, there you go.
And he starts to list out, the radiation levels from our warp drive has had an interesting spike as of late. And I've noticed that there's been some defective berths in the lower parts of the bowels of the ship.
With that, the captain will see himself out nodding, going, "Okay, well, this is going to be statistics and numbers."
Yeah, no, I'm totally cool with this, and also I'm like, okay. And
basically, he starts listing out babies that he suggests to be turned into cherubs.
Oh, fuck yeah, I'm totally cool with this. But yeah, no. The explanation was that currently happened was during the flux of when we had to push it too hard, or we had to push it hard during that one incident, and it did get thoroughly cleaned afterwards.
Ah, the
Understand?
deja vu incident.
Yeah. But we are totally happy to help you with making sure.
Oh, wonderful. Let nothing be wasted.
Indeed. Praise the young sack.
Oof.
Mm.
Sorry,
Praise
parents.
The God Emperor. The God Emperor provides.
Anyway,
The God Emperor provides, my dear Tech Priest. The God Emperor provides.
Indeed. Alright, okay, when would you like to schedule some of the tech priests to help you out during the
We can hand wave this. Like, he's just making you aware that there's defective births, and some of them are born a little bit weird. So he's just like, for lack of better words, he's scrapping them from being allowed to live any further.
Understood. Some were born without lungs.
Exactly. So that's just it.
Yeah,
Going
we're
back in.
totally happy for that to help out with it.
Yeah. Going back in, the governor of Lucia schedules in like in 2 days' time for the meeting to take place, as he's got obligations that are needed. So we can either hand wave those 2 days where you're waiting or doing mundane stuff, or if you want to prepare for anything.
Yeah, I'll do some prep stuff and a little bit more role play. I mean, we can speed some of it up if we need to. So, what was the first one? Oh my god, it just left my brain.
You did roll what's called like an intelligence roll earlier on. Effectively, what you came out from that roll is that technically the governor is in his right to do what he's done. So legally speaking, the governor is in such a position where he can sort of like he is more or less going to be walking away clear from this,
Mhm.
no matter
Regardless of what happens, gotcha.
regardless of what happens. And now that you've dug more into it, there's been similar cases that you can find referenced, but you can't find actual like case study that's been out there. It's only like being referenced by code and whatnot, saying that ultimately because the administrator gave a temporary break, it was temporary. But like the moment that temporary is suspended, you need to be back up to like full production, and it never specifies a time zone for like preparing for that. So it's like you can kind of just turn around and be like, yeah, like I need like 100 tons by the end of the week now. Get fucked. Get it to me.
Damn. All right. Wow. So they got to be real fickle.
Yeah, it's just a really messy situation that they've gotten themselves into. So,
Yeah. So the governor's in the right. So all right, he's in the right. But like with that, does the Baron have any real defense? As it's like I mean, the Empire understands like you need to provide with what you've been tasked to do. What I'm trying to figure out is because basically what it was is it was the Mechanicus Forge Master who kind of pressured this whole thing, right?
Yep. They're outside of this kind of bureaucratic touch. So
Yeah, no, and I get that. Which actually may potentially play to our favor because in the end, if both parties can point to that and the administrator will accept it, they'll be just like, yeah, it was a Mechanicus. Okay, well, we can't really do much about it. So in the end, don't do it again. Like, because you can't punish the Mechanicus in that. With the, but that's an inter thing, and they'd be like, I mean, I don't know what they'd be like. I'm not the GM, but anyway, you can press that. My character is just trying to find a way to resolve this without people needing to die and everything going back to the way it was with production spinning up.
Personally, I just want to ship that other guy off to be educated.
Hey man, out of character. They're probably hurting for people who know how to make stuff work.
I know, but it also literally it's a switch. Why did you flip it down instead of up?
Because he's incompetent, like you said.
Sometimes they're just incompetent.
Yep.
Man,
Yeah.
come on, George, push a button. I hear it, Cogswell, Cog.
God damn it.
Anyway,
I know you used to work at Spacely Sprockets.
Right. So I would go and let Father Xerxes know I wish to speak with him. In actually the tab will be to him and OX11 after I've left. Actually, let me make a couple rules real quick.
Accompanying you everywhere right
Hold
now.
on. Let me make a couple rules here. All right, that's the first one. All right. Oof. Hmm. The intelligence rolls paid off. The willpower is going to be kind of.
Man, what are you doing?
Don't worry about it.
Seriously, what
He
are
wants to meet with
doing?
you. That's all you know.
Accompanying you?
Well, remember I left when you and
Faust,
oh my
we're
God,
talking.
yes, Faust. Sorry, Faust were talking. I left because I don't like when he's like, oh, the berths and the ship, this, that, and the other, radiation levels. I'm like, yeah, that's your guys' purvey. That's my job. Is like, if I start getting a growth, I'ma let you know I'm displeased. But until then, I'm like, eh.
Yeah, no. And I'm also gonna take the time to, recalibrate just to make sure that that doesn't happen.
And I am going to go to a place.
Look, I see Cartoonist. Get that man.
Grab that man.
Grab that man. Get back here.
And I am going to activate small friendo burp. I love how fucking Pilkington is reading a book in the library. Yeah, back him. What's he reading? Since I actually went to the library. Can I just?
You could buy your look over. It's the Imperial Art of War.
Nice. Just nods in approval.
You just see flicks page. Like,
Reads more.
Like he's looking over like actual statistics, looking at how to do maneuvers, usage of artillery, all these sort of things.
I love it if it was a pop-out book and he's like, black.
Small. Oh my God. Sorry, you just gave me this. Okay. If we do get someone to animate some stuff, we need them to animate like a general reading in time of need an Art of War book that's pop-ups because it's an imperial tome that dates over 10,000 years old. Can you imagine how stupid? That'd be amazing. He's just like licking his lips, taking in the information. Sorry, that was amazing to me.
Because also I can just see myself looking in and also, what the fuck?
Wait, why did Pilkington turn into an auto gun?
Oh, we doing this? We're doing this back again.
Oh, they've got new ones. They even have grenades.
Oh wow, yeah, they have a bunch. Gotcha.
Turned into a bomb.
No, this is the true image for Pilkington.
Not like this.
The true eye.
He's judging you. So yeah, but he will request that you meet him in the library.
Just wanted to check that everyone's okay for time.
I'm okay for time. Are you calling Brian over there or me?
Yeah, both of you were summoned.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
All right.
I'm sagely take it down to data slate and start marking stuff down about Mr. Pilkington.
He says, greetings. I've asked you here as now that we've been underway for an amount of time, and we've grown, and he'll look at Brian and say, and then at OX as well. He says he'll say like we've grown closer as servants of the house under the Emperor in this, and I trust you as advisors in matters. I am deciding to allow you access to the more off-limits sectional of the library.
Hallelujah.
Some of the rules are that these books, as of right now, you're in reality, how many levels? You're going to be allowed the access with lower, um, with some restrictions. There is to be no taking these books out of their area inside of the library, and no damaging of the books. As he looks at Brian, knowing your character, if you can agree to these, as these books have knowledge that has been ordained by the Emperor to become into our holdings, but they deal with things that are not for the eyes of lesser individuals, as we must protect, the mind. And he'll actually make the sign of the Aquila. The mind is like, an open mind is like a castle with its gates unbarred and unguarded. We must know of the information written down by those saints and note-takers of the Imperium that have studied the things that are strange and unnatural to us, and we must heed their advice in some matters. If you can agree to these terms, then you will be granted access.
I accept, and I promise I will abide by your commands.
Oh, and he goes, one other thing. It is a requirement of the ship that you visit and pay, what is it, you visit and make sure that your soul is cleansed of any potential, how did you put it, Saxius?
So they have to go in and basically purify their souls and minds
Yes.
by going to church.
Yeah. Understand that this information, though granted to those of us who are higher and more trained than the uninitiated, we still must make sure that we maintain our level of purity in such matters. And he's gonna wait, and he's gonna stare at Xerxes, waiting for a response.
I was letting y'all talk, so.
Mm-hmm. No, sorry. Well, he's gonna look at you. Well, no, I understand you're not gonna be rude, but he also understands that you like to burn things.
Oh. No, my dude would be very, it is with great understanding. These books are for understanding, research, and, furthering knowledge. It is what is done with the books is what makes it. So, no, there will be no book burning on this ship.
and he'll nod my appreciation, and then he'll see him kind of go around. Sorry, I forgot. If I click and then I click, there we go. You'll see him kind of go inside, and I take it, Saxius, that there's probably like a panel in here that he can open to get like a bracelet or punch in their identification so that, the scanners and whatnot allow them access.
Absolutely.
Okay. How would you see that on the ship as being the person who gets to puree that? Would it be like a bracelet itself, or would it be like I plug in their gene information or something, or maybe not something that high-tech yet?
Well, I haven't added the exact details in, but basically there's supposed to be like a bar, like a bar door here, and then they've got effectively a sort of like your typical magnetic card that you sort of
Gotcha.
like scan in. That way, the genetic implanting would be way too high tech to start out with.
Got you. That's 100% fair. And so he will hand them both these and say, guard these with your lives, as they are what allows access to this. This room is, of course, monitored at all times, so if someone who is not supposed to be there has seen it, it will mean immediate death.
put it close to my book.
Ah, there you go. And he goes, all right. And then he'll actually like kind of have Mr. and he'll request Mr. Pilkington accompany him. I.e., be like, yes, come, small friend. Picks him up. Pilkington is slightly dispurred. He's like, the fuck, I'm reading something.
He's just like, no, let me finish this book. Just make sure. Yep, I'm good. Up
Okay.
your shoulder.
You see him like he like picks up a little bookmark and puts it in the book with his beak.
Out,
And
feather out, drops it in.
oh god, yeah, pulls out a little feather, and then takes you guys over to the library to basically show you in. Yow! Bam. Screaming is what happened. And you know, I actually really like the aesthetic you have in here. How there's like private, just little chairs to sit and read, and then it probably wouldn't be super full of books, as beginning house.
There are areas where it's
There's room.
definitely a lot more. Yeah, loads of room in the areas where it's like, okay, it's all filled out.
Gotcha.
After we do all this, I will have it.
And he says, with this is your first time in this area. Just remember that when you take in the knowledge in this area, that it stays with you and those who have been given access to here. Myself, you two, and then Tomalis, one of my most trusted house advisors, have access to here right now. That is it, in reality.
And I am honored that you give me this chance to come in here.
And he like nods. Ryan's just over immediately reading, or sit down. Listen.
I'm reading, dude. I'm like, what?
You're like, yes, thank you. I'm reading, taking in information.
I gotta go to church. Excuse me.
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna go hear a sermon or two, and then come back here because that was like.
Oh yeah, no, and I mean, and that's the thing is, probably Lady Emmeline will understand. I think she's probably been made clear of the procedure.
So yeah, before I even touch anything in here, I'm like, okay, I'm technically sullied right now. Thank you for letting me in here, and literally just do a 180 so I can actually take a moment to read a book here by leaving.
Anyway, yep, and so I do that, and then yes, Mr. Pilkington just went with me for ceremony because he's a badass, and I let him go back to his book of war as he increases to Lord Commissar Pilkington.
No, definitely.
Yep. And so then you guys are allowed access to that, and I definitely will seeking upgrades for the biometrics and heavy bolters soon.
I'll just sit next to this fine lady here. Taking a sermon, so I may partake of knowledge.
So you go and you talk to Emlyn.
I will to wrap it up. I will definitely cue this off as a fade to black of me sitting next to her and going, "Okay, where do we?"
I am unused to this. Beep.
Teach me,
No.
please.
I go in and say my psalms.
Yeah, so she goes up there, basically gives you like a pamphlet of, okay, here is the songs you have to repeat, here's the music we'll be playing, and then you sort of go like, praise the not the Omnissiah, sorry, the God Emperor, please do this, do that.
I record that.
So he can just play back her own voice. That would be terrible.
Well, she doesn't know she's being recorded.
No, just for the record, she said, "I'm just
Oh.
That's a slip by me.
But it'd be great. Also, I was right.
Flag that. As radio hosts say, flag that.
Yeah. The men's room.
Right. Oh my god.
All right. Well, I have to take my leave, and I will fade to black on this.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. I will plug in my 200 XP or two. It's 250.
Oh, you have to leave. Leave. Gotcha.
Yeah, I gotta leave later.
Fair.
Alright. We'll do a little bit of time skip and jump over to when the meeting with the Baron's going to be taking place. And then after that, that's when your other ship will be arriving.
Okay.
So,
Right. Yeah. Sorry, he had to actually go.
Yeah, good. Completely understand that.
Okay.
Did you two have fun?
Yes, I did. I know it's more of a role play. Like, give me 1 second. Yes, it was.
It's role play
Very-
for us.
Mhm.
It's a
And
lot of role playing, which I think is great.